Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, DC versus Vampire Superman. This is basically a Vampire Superman figure. It's a gold label Walmart exclusive. Now, Walmart exclusive McFarlane figures are my least favorite type of exclusives, as they are the hardest for me to get. I have a really hard time with Walmarts around here. They get them months after everybody else, and they're just really hard to find. You can never pre-order their website, and if you do, the order gets stuck, etc., etc., etc. Thankfully, CMD Store and Figurine for All, which are Canadian websites, have both the Vampire Superman and Captain Atom, which are the two most recent Walmart exclusive figures. Check them off my list, have them now, and no unnecessary hunting. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, part of their Gold Label collection. Gold Label collection simply means it is exclusive. This one is exclusive to Walmart, ages 12 plus. DC Multiverse Superman. This is Superman's 85th anniversary this year. One side of the package, Superman from DC versus Vampires. Other side simply says Superman. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there's his barcode, in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's a picture of the Vampire Superman. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with two alternate hands, totaling 4 interchangeable hands, a display stand, and a collector's card. But before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Superman from DC versus Vampires. This is a Vampire Superman. The concept in itself makes absolutely no sense, as he's invincible. How can he be turned into a vampire? Still, it's a really cool concept for a figure. I was really shocked to see it was not on the infected body. I didn't pay too much attention to the promotional photos. They've used the infected body for almost everything. This one appears to be on the Page Puncher body, a much leaner body. And it's refreshing that it's a little bit different, but this is one of the few figures the infected body would actually be quite appropriate for. But then again, zombies are a lot of times sort of sickly looking, skeletons, lean. Anyway, let's take a look. Starting with his face here, it looks fantastic. Only complaint is the head maybe sits a little too low, the neck a little too fat. It sort of looks a little weird in the neck area. Beyond that, it looks great. Teeth are exposed, eyes are red. You can imagine a vampire Superman with his heat vision. Ears, almost like elf ears. The texturing all over the neck, I mean, very well done. The sculpt is phenomenal. Figure looks great. Going further down, suit's a lot darker. Kind of black, dark red, Superman logo, the thin Page Puncher body, large gripping, choking, grabbing hands, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. Cape also looks familiar. I think it's a Page Puncher one. As a whole, no one needs a zombie Superman, or rather a vampire Superman, but man, it does make for a pretty cool looking figure. And I do believe there have started to be some sightings of this Superman at Walmarts on the West Coast, California. Just like usual, starts there and trickles its way across the country. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Very well done. Looks fantastic, like a monstrous Superman. And here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. Let's start off with the display stand. He comes with a typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, very thin, very basic. Here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Vampire Superman. Superman from DC versus Vampires. Looks really good. Backside, there's a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now let's take a look at his hands. He has a total of 4 of them. 2 sort of grabbing hands, and then 2 fisted hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And then his second pair of hands. This is a pair of grabbing, clawing, choking hands. Now I wanted to check out the reuse between this guy and the Page Puncher Superman. Obviously, the heads are completely different. The neck is completely different as well. Going further down, the body does appear to be exactly the same, but the dark colors make it look quite different. This guy's fists are a little bit more appropriate size than the original Page Puncher Superman. That's my biggest complaint about him. It is the exact same sculpt, exact same cape, just different hands, different sort of neck, and different head. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7.1 inches tall. Going to translate to 18 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Start with his head here. Of course, it can rotate from side to side. You can look up and down, pretty good amount. His head looking up and kind of give him into a flight pose. Shoulders, a ball joint, goes out more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest, increasing range of motion and covering the large gap that would be there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. In his torso, he's got a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back, can't rotate too much. Then his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty wide range of motion in his torso area. Legs, completely does the splits, not a ball joint, similar idea. Rotation, minimal, almost non-existent. Legs, forward about that much. Back, not much. Double jointed knees. Ankle, forward and back. Rotate, tilt, rock, and of course, toe articulation. For this next scene, let's switch to a church-type setting. Here's the Vampire Superman in the church, crosses in the background. And here's a Vampire Superman crawling out of his coffin, just like a vampire would do. Here's a Vampire Batman and the Vampire Superman on a rooftop. World's finest. Now let's check them out. Next to some other action figures, starting off with some other vampire figures. Here are the DC versus vampire figures McFarlane has made so far. Batman, Superman, and the Joker. The next one coming is going to be Hal Jordan, Vampire Green Lantern. And here he is, next to a couple of NECA Dracula figures. Then, next to a NECA Monsters Count figure. Here's Superman, next to a Mattel, Batman Unlimited, Vampire Batman. And here he is, next to a Loose Collector, Vampirella. Then, next to both a Toy Biz Marvel Legends Blade and Dracula. And now, next to a custom Nocturna. Nocturna is a vampire-themed Batman villain. And finally, next to both Darla and Drusilla from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now let's check them out. Next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. And let's start off with some other Superman figures. Here's the Vampire Superman, next to the Page Puncher Superman. The exact same body, a very lean Superman body. They've now made 3 different variations of the Page Puncher Superman. We have the standard version, the vampire version, and the black and white accent version, which kind of looks like a zombie. Now this most certainly is not the first evil Superman McFarlane has made. Here are several of them. We have the Hush Superman when he was controlled by Poison Ivy, the Infected Superman when he was controlled by the Batman Who Laughs, Vampire Superman, Black Lantern Superman, and then Red Sun Superman, who wasn't really evil from his point of view. Here he is, next to the Action Comics 1000 Superman. Then, next to the Rebirth Superman. Here he is, next to the Batman The Dark Knight Returns Superman. And here, next to the DC Cinematic Universe, Henry Cavill Superman. Here are all of the McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman figures they've made so far. I count a total of 24. A couple of the upcoming ones, it's going to be the Action Comics #1 First Appearance Superman from the Collector's line. And then there's also the sketch version of Superman, Entertainment Earth exclusive. And let's not forget, coming very soon is going to be the regular version of the Hush Superman. Looks to be a fantastic release. Now let's check them out. Next is some other recent release McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, starting off with some recent Walmart exclusive releases. Here's this sort of wave of figures, Vampire Superman and Captain Atom. These Walmart exclusives seem to drop in pairs of 2, and they usually have nothing to do with each other. And here, next to the previous 2 McFarlane Walmart exclusive figures, Vampire Joker and Beast Boy. Before that, they released Vampire Joker and Eradicator. And here he is, next to the Injustice 3-pack, consisting of Batman, Supergirl, and Dr. Fate. This is also a gold label release, and I'm not sure where it's going to be exclusive to in the US. Then, next to the Dark Knight's medal, Alan Scott, Dread Lantern. Here's Superman, next to some recent Target exclusive gold label releases. We have the Flashpoint, Aquaman, Project Superman, and Flash, Sinestro Corpse Batman, Jokerized, Future State Batman, Impulse, and Deadman. And here he is, next to the goofy head sculpt Rebirth Superman versus Ultraman 2-pack. Then, next to the most recent Batman wave, we have the Nightfall Batman, Batman Incorporated Batwing, and the Batman Reborn Two Faces Batman. And now, next to the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Black and White accent Superman and Flash. Here's Superman, Next to some recent McFarlane Toy Store exclusive gold label figures, we have Superman in his Unchained Armor Patina variant, Kyle Rayner as Blue Lantern, and Dick Grayson Robin. Then, next to the fifth wave of Page Punchers, this is a Batman-themed wave fighting the Frozen, Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and Mr. Freeze. There's a Platinum Chase variant of Batgirl out there, and I'm hunting for her. And now, with the entire wave of Flash movie figures, here's Superman, next to the Titans wave, collective build Beast Boy, and here he is, next to the two most recent McFarlane Mega figures, Fulcrum Abominus and Calabac. Then, next to the Arkham City Riddler and the Arkham Knight Earth 2 Batman skin, and now, next to Shazam and Wonder Woman from Shazam Fury of the Gods. Here's Superman, next to the fourth wave of Page Punchers. This is an Aquaman-themed wave, Aquaman, Aqualad, Black Manta, and Ocean Master. And finally, next to the Dark Knight Trilogy wave, collective build Bane from the Dark Knight Rises. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you know what signs you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my smaller, and I'm going to include as many Superman figures as I can during these comparisons. Since we already checked him out next to a bunch of other McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman figures, here he is with some more McFarlane toys. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, here's Superman, next to a container of seasoning. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Superman figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Superman figures. And here he is, next to some Makefix figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a pretty cool Superman figure. Definitely not exactly what I would describe as a necessary Superman figure, but I'm all in for these DC vs. Vampires. I think they're pretty cool, pretty well done, pretty nice variants. Head sculpt is fantastic. It's creepy, it's grotesque, I love it. I love how they alter the sculpt on the neck. And using the Page Puncher body is a nice surprise. They give hands a little more appropriate for the figure. The lean body, it just works. It looks good with a darker paint job. I like it. His accessories, just extra hands, pretty non-existent. Sculpted paint job, wonderful. Articulation is everything you'd expect from a modern McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. If I had to rate this guy, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. For a figure I didn't really need, he definitely surpassed my expectations. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.